With the new year rapidly approaching, we're getting ready for a whole new set of gaming releases. We've already had a bunch of announcements that have whetted the appetite of the gaming world, but there are 5 games that stood out from the rest. Whether it be a sequel to an already very successful title, or a game that just looks so damn good we had to include it. You'll want to take a note of these 5 regardless. Just as a brief disclaimer, we won't be ranking these in any particular order, more just giving you our 5 best if you will. As always, this is objective truth as opposed to opinion, so if you think that any of the games are going to eclipse these, then unfortunately you're wrong. But please still like and subscribe. Whether you're into RPG games that immerse you into an entirely different world, or PvP games that you can dedicate hours to honing your craft in, we should have you covered here. So without further ado, let's get into the video and reveal to you the 5 games that you need to play in 2022. First up, we're looking at Overwatch 2, which is the much anticipated sequel to, you guessed it, Overwatch. Overwatch released in May 2016 and has had a huge player base ever since. The game is seen as one of the best in terms of competitive team play, and offers a variety of characters that all have their own strengths. Each player plays a role in the team and is integral to getting the win. The general art style of the game means that it won't become outdated in terms of graphics, and has a nice arcade-like feel to it. Also, a big plus is that there is no pay-to-win aspect to it, which evens the playing field and makes you rely much more on skill than how deep your wallet is. There's a reason this game has stayed so relevant over the 5 years it's been out, so it's pretty obvious why people are excited about the sequel, and seemingly for good reason too. The game is getting a big overhaul with all the characters getting new designs that are more detailed and interesting. What's nice though is they haven't really strayed too far away from the original designs, but are different enough to feel new and fresh. There's also been a huge emphasis on the gameplay, with dynamic environments being added and new large-scale game modes introduced. It seems like they're not trying to fix what isn't broken with this title, but more enhance what they already have. It certainly piqued the interest of fans of the original. Overall, I think this game will essentially be a repeat of the first, in the sense that it'll be played for many years to come and have a very strong core fanbase. There's not really much more to tell you, to be honest. If you played the original, then you know what to expect with this game. Hopefully it brings enhanced gameplay and some nice new mechanics. We'll just have to wait and see. The original Dying Light was released in January of 2015, and had seemingly been seen over 100 times before. A first-person zombie apocalypse game where you have to loot and craft your way to safety. Well, it was just that, but the mechanics made it a very enjoyable experience. You had a lot of freedom with your movement, which made running from zombies feel like a different experience every single time. Nothing in this game will surprise you per se, but it's just a really solid zombie game where you can mindlessly smash some heads without thinking about it too much. There was a storyline to go through, but this certainly wasn't the key selling point of the game. Fans of the original will be looking forward to the next gen graphics and new gameplay mechanics that will be implemented. From the trailer and the gameplay we've seen so far, the free running aspect looks so much smoother than the original, and the fighting mechanics seem to have had a huge buff too. In general, it just looks more polished, which I guess you'd expect from the next gen consoles. The ambiance of the original is something that made it such an immersive experience, so it's good to hear that the added time that Techland took to produce the game has enabled it to be enhanced for the sequel. They've been quoted to make comments about the ray tracing on the next gen consoles really adding to the atmosphere of the game, and we can't wait to see it. It seems as if this release will be an updated, free-running, zombie-killing fest, which is what made it so endearing to players in the first place. It also looks like there'll be more of a storyline to this game, with there being a couple of small spoilers in the trailer already. It's definitely caught our attention, and is a game that we'll be looking forward to getting our hands on in 2022. With the previous 2018 title, God of War, the gaming industry was taken aback by the incredible gameplay and intricate design. It left players wanting more, with a whole lot of action still to be experienced and a storyline that had loads of loose ends. When Ragnarok was announced at the PlayStation 5 showcase event in mid-September, fans of the series were beyond excited. The gameplay trailer revealed some big details about the new game that will add a bunch to the storyline, including the introduction of Tyr, who was alluded to in the 2018 game, but never actually seen, and also Angerboda, who is the love interest of Loki, so there was a lot to unpack, to put it simply. In contrast to the Dying Light series, these games have a rich narrative running throughout them, so there's a lot of hype around the continuation of the story. That's not to say people don't play Dying Light for the story, but it comes second fiddle to the gameplay. A lot of the excitement also comes around the world design and combat mechanics as well, both of which have been brilliant in God of War games up until now. All of these things add up to make Ragnarok a must-play game next year. If you have a PlayStation, of course. As you all know, that is one big downfall of this game, is the fact that you can only play it on one console. To be honest though, I think it might be worth taking out a loan just to pick up a PS5 to play this. I'm just kidding, please don't do that. Even if you're not a fan of mythology or fantasy games in general, it's definitely going to be worth giving this a try, even if it's just for the casual fighting experience. You'll 100% end up getting hooked on the story either way, and that's why this is the third game on our list. Whilst Breath of the Wild 2 is not the official name of this game, it has been confirmed to be landing in 2022. The hugely popular prequel Breath of the Wild was released in 2017 and really tested the capabilities of the Nintendo Switch. Everything about the game captured what makes Zelda brilliant. The art style was clean, the quests were engaging, and the character progression was very rewarding. Having been announced in 2019 and causing huge excitement amongst fans back then, the long-awaited sequel is right around the corner. There isn't a great deal of information available yet on the game, but we have had a trailer where it looks like there will be some new powers to use and new places to explore, as you'd imagine. From the trailer, the map looks like it's going to be just as beautiful as ever, which won't come as a surprise to Zelda fans. The story also looks like it's going to be a completely new experience, with the community already coming up with theories of where on the Zelda timeline this game will take place and what you'll be up against when playing. The game seems to be set above Hyrule, in the sky, which is a cool concept for sure. It makes for what looks like some beautiful scenery and interesting mechanics, including the ability to teleport through land, which will add a lot to the navigation aspect of the world. From the trailer, we can see that there are two different versions of Link, which look like they're from an entirely different timeline. We're pretty used to Zelda throwing us around timelines like crazy, so this comes as no surprise either. There seem to be new powers as well, with a lot of them being on show in the brief amount of gameplay we've seen, so there really is a lot to look forward to. Fans have been speculating what point in the game it will take us in the Zelda timeline. It really is up in the air. Well, whatever happens, we know this game will be great, if the previous titles are anything to go by, and we can't wait to get our hands on it. For our final game, we've saved the best until last, a game that truly will revolutionise the scene as we know it. One that has already had an incredible impact on so many lives, Among Us 2. This masterpiece of strategy, level design and gameplay really is the pinnacle of— no, obviously I'm joking, we're talking about Elden Ring as our last game. This game was announced in 2019 at E3 and stirred up a lot of anticipation. Unfortunately, in 2020 we really didn't hear much about the game, with very little information being released. This didn't put people off though, as now we have official confirmation of its release in 2022, the hype really has returned. The fantasy RPG title looks to have it all, an absolutely beautiful open world to explore, multiple different bosses and NPCs, and a lot of unique ways to play. It's like a mix of Skyrim and Lord of the Rings with a splash of World of Warcraft. Truly an exciting time to be a gamer. The game boasts so many features, like a huge map with the ability to explore every single inch of it, mounts such as a horse that will allow you to travel around much faster and jump to great heights while riding it, and what looks like a variety of weapons and spells that you can craft from items that you've gathered from the world on your journey. I honestly think this game has it all, and it's probably worth the retail price just to explore the world. Honestly, this map is absolutely stunning. From the footage we've seen already, we can tell that the soundtrack and ambience of the game is exceptional. There are just so many things to look forward to with this, and in a weird way, the anticipation was heightened by the lack of information we initially had on it. Anyway, the wait is finally over and we cannot wait to see what this game has in store for us. Well, that's it for our top 5 games that you need to play in 2022. Please feel free to disagree or comment with any other games that you think are must-plays next year. I know there are plenty of other games that have been announced, but in our opinion, these 5 are the ones that everyone needs to try out. If you enjoyed the video and want Half-Life 3 to be announced tomorrow, like and subscribe to the channel. We guarantee you 100% that your subscription will be the one to trigger the announcement, so make sure to do it. Don't let the gaming community down. Thank you all for watching as per, and we'll see you in the next video.